Matthew Denner, Procurement Australia, welcoming you to the post-tender briefing for the Recruitment Training and Associated Services contract. Thank you very much for making the time to come to us today. We hope to be done and dusted within the next 35 to 40 minutes. And there are just a few house rules to go through before we start. If you have not already done so, could I trouble you to mute yourselves now? Thank you. Secondly, the deck that we will be presenting today will be emailed to all attendees, so feel free to make notes as you go should you wish to, but if you don't, then not to worry, you will see your own copy of this. I am reliably informed that this presentation is being recorded and it will be loaded onto our website for you to enjoy at your leisure at some future date. Secondly, there is a chat function for questions. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to pop them in there as we go along. Please can I ask you to put your email address in there as well so we know whom is asking the question. In terms of questions that are being asked, when we get to the end, I'll take a quick look through. If there are some that I can answer immediately, then I will. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll take the questions away with me. I'll put together some answers for you, and then I will circulate a Q&A sheet to everybody via email. So one way or another, your questions will be answered. Also, I think that pretty much covers everything off. So again, good morning and thank you. If you can put yourselves onto mute, that would be lovely. Thanks very much indeed. So obviously this is the post-tender briefing for the recruitment contract. And pardon me. Why are we here? Well, the obvious reasons, of course, the opportunity as far as we can, obviously, to meet with each other. You will no doubt be relieved to know that hopefully, technology willing, you will be hearing from several other of my colleagues other than myself in the next half an hour or so. We'll obviously take a look at the roles and responsibilities, and the engagement strategy is a very important part of things. And again, and as I say, there is the opportunity for you to raise some questions with us. The agenda is quite straightforward, a very quick recap of ourselves, overview of the contract, contract management, member engagement, and FAQs. So, Procurement Australasia is made up of 3 different entities: Procurement Australia, Church Resources and Space Station. From your perspective, I think it's probably important to note that the members of all organisations can access their Procurement Australia contracts, so there is a large market for you to engage with. In terms of the contract overview, I trust that none of what is on this page now is a surprise to anybody. Here we are, we have a 3-year principal period with up to 2 one-year options to extend, and we're starting on January the 1st. The categories remain as they are, and we have committed members, pre-committed members of just shy of 50, and we'll be coming back to talk about them a little bit later. The awarded categories are, hopefully again, no great surprise to anybody here. And then we move on immediately into how to work under the contract. So I mentioned the pre-committed members before, 46 of them. You can see that the membership fits into 2 groups. There are those folk, and then there is everybody else. And basically, those who have pre-committed do not need an opt-in letter in order to engage with you, nor you with them. So you can go ahead and you can talk to each other right now. Members wanting to use the contract after the start date, however, do need an opt-in letter. That's a straightforward pro forma, and there is now a new process in place via the procurement gateway system. As and when that becomes relevant to you, please do feel free to reach out to the relevant relationship manager for your geographical area or industry area, and they'll be glad, obviously, to facilitate the process. Another question here, very simply, a simple flowchart here for the engagement and invoicing process. You can see the various moving parts in the machine, and you can see how the workflow moves through. In terms of contract management, there are a number of things to talk about here. Firstly, we have variation to deliverables. During the contract term, and particularly with a contract which is of this duration, one of the ways that we can help to keep things fresh from our perspective and from your perspective is to entertain variations to the offerings made by the suppliers who have been awarded. As you can see, there's a little bit of flavor text here as to what that might refer to, a general overview of the process. I should say that with this and with the following contract management slides, there are clauses in Part C of the deed which speak specifically to this. But if you're interested particularly, please do feel free to reach out to me to have a discussion. More than happy to have a chat with you. It's part of what I do. Rate review is, for those of you for whom this is relevant for your categories, then this again is a conversation point that we can have together. And lastly, I bring it up merely just to make the point that it exists. There is a deregistration process for when things don't work out. I would also say that it is not our preferred method of doing business. You have all tendered and done a lot of work to get onto the panel, as have we from our side. And really it is in our interests and that the contract should succeed for all parties. Nevertheless, should it be required, the deregistration process is there. To look now towards the rebate and reporting, my colleagues in finance would be here to speak to us, but unfortunately they've had a slight change of staff there, so you've got me for another 30 seconds. I apologize. So again, there is a reiteration of the rebate amount percentages for the various categories. And then just some basic notes for how the rebate reporting works. So as you can see, it's a straightforward process, a template being sent out at the beginning of each month. We'll ask you to complete that and return it to us by the 18th of the month. And then obviously there is a note there for what to do should you have a quiet month and there be nil sales. You'll see also at the bottom of the page that there is an email address. I assure you that the people who sit behind reports@paltd.com.au are very nice people. And they'll be more than happy to help you out with any queries that you may have, particularly in the early days. In terms of the sales and marketing contacts, I bring this up because we're now going to move on to talk about our sales team, Procurement Australia's sales team, and also the marketing teams as well. So you can see there are a number of folk spread across the country. These are the principal contacts. I've highlighted Mr. Neil Banerjee and Ms. Esther Roper because I trust that you'll be hearing from both of them in a few moments. In terms now, we move on to member engagement, one of the more important things. I think the first statement there is important to point out. I'm afraid that we are very much limited in terms of the member contact details that we can supply to you. For those of you who are familiar directly with the tender, you'll note that in Part C, Annexure 1, a large list of the current or then current membership was provided to you, somewhat over 1,000. We are happy to provide refreshed lists as time goes on. Moving on to look at suggested approaches, if I can probably introduce my colleague, Mr. Neil Banerjee, perhaps to speak with you in regards to engaging with our relationship managers. Neil, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Lovely.
Good morning, everyone. Perfect. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. So I guess I just wanted to have a quick conversation around engagement around the contract. So I guess the sales team are there to open up as many conversations as we possibly can, where we will be going to the members and talking about the contract as a whole. Please note that we do talk about the contract as a whole, and the members will then advise us which categories are of interest and will provide further information. But the relationship managers aren't allowed to put forward a specific supplier at any point. We are allowed to, if someone comes to us and says that they are particularly interested in IT specialism, for example, then we are able to give them a list of the IT specialist providers that you put in your tender submission summary where you've indicated that is a specialism. Then we do that, and we also give some key selling points. So I'd always welcome you guys to get in contact with us with kind of 3 key USPs, if you'd like, so the sales team is has that information at hand. So if someone asks about your particular agency or particular company, then we have some readily made information available to them quickly and easily, apart from the tender submission summary, which we'll also provide to them. So very much, please do engage with the relationship managers. We are there to support you. We will be looking to open up opportunities. We'll be talking to all the members, and the members will also be reaching out to you directly. So feel free to let us know if you have anything like that. And also, if you guys are having roadblocks with some of our members where you can't get hold of the right contact, then please also feel free to reach out to us, and we'll help knock that down and actually get through to the right person. As Matthew's already said, and it's written on the slide, there is a list of the EOI members that you guys have all got from the tender. There's a list of all the current members, which currently is about 800 odd on the Procurement Australia side, and then 24,000, but 6,500 active on the Church Resources side. So happy to help with targeting some of them, and come along to our events. Get involved with our members. Obviously, once COVID lapses and we can actually start having events again, then certainly we look forward to having you along. But if you ever have any questions around engagement or around the sales team, please feel free to reach out to me. My details will be on the slide deck, and we can go from there. Back to you, Matthew.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate it. So moving on, as you can see, there are a number of bullet points there that Neil has addressed. The three at the bottom speak now really more towards our marketing team, and I'm just going to move on to the next slide and hand over to our marketing manager, Ms. Esther Roper. Esther, you're in the driving seat. Just tell me what you want and where you need it.
No worries. Thank you so much, Matt, and welcome everyone to this briefing this morning. My name's Esther Roper. I'm the marketing manager for Procurement Australasia, and I look after all the marketing for our supplier base. So I guess the first thing to let you guys know is that we have a specific supplier logo. It's called the Authorized Supplier logo for Procurement Australia. And this logo is available to each and every one of you, and it's a good brand recognition for our members, particularly our government members, who see our logo and realise that you are on the approved panel of suppliers. So you're able to use that logo across many types of marketing assets and branding materials. Matt, if you don't mind going to the next slide, I'll just show you a couple of examples that we've had recently for those, the authorized supplier. You can see here that it's used quite well on landing pages. So many of our suppliers, our marketing team work with their marketing team to ensure that they have the right supplier logo on their websites, and they have dedicated landing pages letting specific Procurement Australia members know that they're part of the contract, but also through various collaterals. So letters that go out to members that they'd like to do on behalf of their own marketing teams, any kind of flyers, any kind of brochures, by dual branding with the Procurement Australia Authorised Supplier logo. That's become a really good recognition and has opened doors for some of our suppliers, which is fantastic. So that's a good way for you to advertise yourselves, and we're here to support. So please reach out if you'd like access to those authorised supplier logos. We're happy to provide it to anyone. If you move over to the next slide, if you don't mind, Matt. We've got another way, which is a really important way for our suppliers to get right in front of our members, is our Procurement Australasia annual conference. And Matt, if you don't mind playing the video, this is just a kind of teaser from our, unfortunately we couldn't do it this year, the conference. But essentially, this is a very sought after conference that brings a lot of value to our members, and we have them all gathered in one place. And we have a conference that's held at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre, and there are about 22 stands that are available for various suppliers across all of the contracts. and they have access and direct access to networking with our members, speaking to our members. We support them with lead generation on the stands and as much visibility and exposure as you can. So that's a really good event if you, in your marketing budget, have the ability to have a stand there. It's very well received, and we always get really, really great feedback from all of our suppliers. So if you want to find out more about next year's conference, it's actually on the 20th of August, 2021, and again, it will be at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. So feel free to reach out. You will see communications early on in the year when we start asking for sponsorship. Matt, if you don't mind going to the next slide, that would be great. Yeah, from time to time with our members, sometimes depending on what's currently happening in the industry, it's really important that we partner with suppliers to deliver what we call value add skills and trainings for our membership base. So particularly that's procurement related as well. We run specific free webinar information sessions, or sometimes we get suppliers to come in to talk about a specific topic. Particularly if their organisation specialises in something that can offer value to our members. So certainly we will reach out to you guys if we feel that that's something that our members are asking for. And certainly feel free to reach out to us if you feel like there's something in that we can offer our members as a value add. And I think we're on the last slide, please, Matt, if you don't mind. Yes, so one of the questions I get asked a lot, and Neil had said that we actually try to advertise a lot of the suppliers as part of the contract, but we constantly get asked for what our media kit is, and we've got a Supplier Spotlight program that we're actually starting to develop and think about for 2021. So right now it's under construction, if you like, but I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be, we're hoping to, if we get enough interest, to create a Supplier Spotlight program that will run over 12 months. That will give suppliers the opportunity to advertise in various marketing channels that we talk to our members with. So look out for that. I'll definitely keep you all posted. But currently, right now, we make sure that we randomly select across all of our contracts suppliers, and then we'll highlight them through our social media channels, through our Procurement Australia newsletters as well. And we share certain social media community-based posts that we do with suppliers as well. So we'll be on the lookout for all of your organisations. And I know many of you have already shared that you have become on the contract, and that's been really well received as well. So we try to share some of those posts as well. But all things marketing will definitely reach out to each and every one of you. And I do believe, Matt, that is my last slide.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Esther. Thank you very much for that informative overview. Thank you. Right, everybody, we're on the home stretch now. So I'm just going to touch on a few of these FAQs. And as you can see, obviously, having been in the business for about 35 years, Procurement Australia has done this 1 or 2 times, and there are some hardy perennial questions that do pop up. So first of all, a good one, of course, is, am I allowed to know who else is on the panel? And the answer is yes, the information is available upon request. What do you discuss with the procurement specialist with myself? Well, we've touched base up on that earlier before, just with regards to obviously the contract management issues there. So technical aspects, products and operational routines, any contract variations, those sorts of things. Why do we charge a rebate? Well, that's a reasonable question. Firstly, it's the standard aggregator model, and that's us. Secondly, we are financially self-sufficient. And as you can see, as we've said here, and this is so, we receive no external funding and our members pay no fees. Secondly, in terms of new sales, we've touched on that here and there earlier. Very simply, we can't promote specific suppliers. We promote the contracts to the members continuously through our group, Neil and his colleagues in the sales team, and obviously Esther in the marketing team with her colleagues. So you're encouraged to do what you do generally, leverage off the contract. The process you've been through is ISO certified, and as I understand has been so for the last 20 years or so. It's a known quality mark within the industry, within the market, and amongst our members. Lastly, in terms of an existing direct customer, if they decide to purchase under the contract, again, these purchases will be treated as being under the contract, and thus the rebate component will be applicable if they are pre-committed or if they have opted in. That concludes the FAQs.